They were created by the Europeans in 1884 at the Berlin Conference. They just sat down with a big map of Africa and they just drew places on the map and said, you got this, Germany has that, France has that, Britain has that. This is the way they did it. That's why those boundaries, so the people don't recognize them. Ordinary people, they say, oh no, we can do anything we want to. We can travel anywhere we want to. We can just move around anywhere we want to. That is what it should be, and that's what it will be. We have one passport, say Africa. But not only just one passport that says Africa, one currency, which they're calling the Afro now. The Afro. We just have, you look at your money, it says Afro. Whether I'm in Cameroon or whether I'm in Morocco, it's Afro. You see? And not only one currency, but also 4 different languages. Kiswahili, Arabic, French, and English, to start with. These are the official languages. Every document written in those 4 languages. Just like in Canada, every document written in 2 languages, French and English. In Africa, it would be 4 languages, even though you would have your own local language you can learn. You can still learn Yoruba. And you can teach Yoruba in the schools. But if you're going to do international, do business nationwide, you're going to have to use one of the official languages. That's the plan, that's the dream. We've already written it. The Constitution is already written. Those of you who've seen my book, The History of Africa, the draft Constitution is in the back of the book. It's already planned. Some of the presidents have already said, if it happens tomorrow, I would willingly be a governor. I don't mind being a governor of my state. If it happens, if we could do this tomorrow. We have to do this. This is necessary for the life of Africa, for the life of Africans. We cannot exist without it. In fact, the American government, working, however, with, I think, NATO and the European, certainly the European Commission, Common Market, has decided to try to subvert this. And here's what they have done. They now have a plan that they call the Mediterranean Basin Plan. This is coming out of Europe. This Mediterranean Basin Plan seeks to basically bring the countries in the northern part of Africa into Europe. To say, all around the Mediterranean, we will have one great common community. And that common community will be called Mediterranean Basins. And by doing that, they basically chop off the top of Africa. And there are a couple of nations who have said they're willing to go for it. Of course, there are some nations that are not willing to go for it. And those nations, fortunately, are nations like, big nations like Libya, Egypt, and Algeria. But, I'm sorry, Libya, Egypt, and Morocco. Algeria is a little shaky. Tunisia is ready to go and to become a part of the European Mediterranean Basin, ocean with Italy, Greece, and Spain, and so forth. So these are the challenges. And what I am saying is that the Obama administration has not backed down from the AFRICOM, the whole AFRICOM situation, where they've set up a military unit with strike force possibilities for West Africa. And they started this under the Bush administration. The idea was, how do we control the oil resources in Africa, which they now claim are more than all of the resources in Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. That they just discovered oil a year or 2 ago in Ghana, off the coast of Ghana. Yeah. Everywhere in Africa is oil. It's everywhere. I mean, actually per capita income, the 4th richest country in the world, which just went through chaos, is Gabon. 4th richest country in the world. If you take their gross national product and you distribute it over the population, you discover that each individual in Gabon would be richer than everybody in the world except 3 different countries. But of course the money is unevenly spent in such a country. And the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So my idea about this is that we have a big task, but our task as Africans in the diaspora, where, by the way, the aim of the United States of Africa is to make it possible where Africans in the diaspora would have dual citizenship, where citizenship would become available to us. At one time, before they started this discussion, there was this talk of the sixth region. But the sixth region talk was an illusion. And it was an illusion because it could never be rationalized. And there was no way to rationalize it, particularly when you have a country like Brazil with over 100 million African people, or a country like Colombia in South America with 30% of its population black, nearly 15 million people, or the United States. So you have all these countries with large black populations in the Americas. How do you count them? How do you, what's the ratio in terms of the number of people to the number of votes and all of that? I mean, it was a big, complicated situation. But once they abandoned this idea of regions, then in coming up with the idea of the United States of Africa, we say the African people in the diaspora wish and would like to see the possibility that any African person, particularly those who have had experience in Africa, who love Africa, who want to have experience in Africa, who are devoted to Africa, would be allowed to be citizens of such a magnificent and noble country. I thank you very much. I'm sorry I have another appointment, but I could go on for hours on this discussion, but thank you for giving me this honor. My pleasure.